Hey there, and welcome to your personalized deep dive.
Mm.
Today, we're cracking open this intriguing world of human givens.
Oh, yeah.
We've got excerpts from Joe Griffin and Ivan Tyrrell's book, Human Givens,
Okay.
even peeking into the foreword and the index.
Sounds good.
You're in for a ride because this touches on psychology,
Mm-hmm.
biology, and even a sprinkle of philosophy.
Wow.
Our mission
Yeah.
to sift through it all and pinpoint the core ideas of this approach,
Right.
especially how they might apply to you.
Like we're about to decode the user manual for being human.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So let's start with the basics.
sure.
What are these human givens anyway?
Think of them as the essential ingredients for a thriving life.
Okay.
Things we need, not just things we want.
Gotcha.
Some are obvious.
Yeah.
Air, water,
Right.
food,
Yep.
sleep.
Makes sense.
But it gets more nuanced.
Okay.
We also crave connection,
Mm-hmm.
meaning in our lives.
Right.
Intimacy,
Okay.
the freedom to make our own choices.
Yeah.
Even playfulness.
Interesting.
These aren't learned desires. They're woven into our very being.
I'm already seeing how this could be relevant.
Oh, yeah.
Think about your day-to-day.
Okay.
Have you ever stopped to consider why you do the things you do? That urge to scroll through social media?
Yes.
Maybe it's not just boredom, but a deeper need for connection bubbling up.
That's the beauty of this framework.
Mm-hmm.
It encourages us to look beneath the surface of our actions and understand the underlying needs driving them.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's talk about the need for meaning.
Okay.
It's not just about having a prestigious job or achieving great things.
Right.
It's about feeling like your life has purpose, that your actions have an impact, however big or small.
Exactly.
So how do we know if this need for meaning is being met?
Well,
What does that look like in real life?
it can manifest in different ways.
Okay.
For some people, it might be through their work. If they feel passionate about what they do and feel like they're contributing to something larger than themselves. For others, it might be through their relationships, their creative pursuits, or even their spiritual beliefs.
It's almost like a compass guiding us towards what truly resonates with us, right?
Exactly. And when this need is met, we feel a sense of satisfaction,
Yeah.
purpose, and direction.
Okay.
But when it's not met, we might experience feelings of emptiness,
Yeah.
aimlessness, even despair.
And this lack of meaning, can that be a contributing factor to depression?
Absolutely.
We hear so much about depression these days.
The authors of Human Givens actually challenge the common belief that depression is simply a chemical imbalance in the brain.
Really?
They suggest that while brain chemistry plays a role, the root cause often lies in unmet human needs.
Okay, so if we're not getting those essential ingredients for a fulfilling life,
Yeah.
our mental health takes a hit.
Think of it this way.
Hmm.
If we're constantly deprived of essential nutrients, our bodies become weak and vulnerable to illness.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, if we're consistently failing to meet our emotional needs, our minds can become susceptible to conditions like depression and anxiety.
So it's like a holistic approach to mental health.
Yeah.
Understanding that our emotional well-being is just as important as our physical well-being.
Precisely. And the book emphasizes that while we can't always control our external circumstances, we can learn to understand and manage our internal needs, which can have a profound impact on our overall well-being.
Speaking of managing our internal world,
Yes.
one of the things that really intrigued me in these excerpts was the connection between REM sleep and our emotional health.
Ah, yes. Joe Griffin's research on dreams and REM sleep is fascinating.
Yeah.
It completely changes how we view that time spent snoozing.
I always thought of REM sleep as just a period of rest.
Right.
But the book suggests it plays a much deeper role.
It's like our brain's nightly processing center.
Wow.
Griffin's research suggests that REM sleep is crucial for deactivating unexpressed emotional arousals from the day.
Okay.
It's like our subconscious is working through those unresolved feelings, helping us maintain emotional balance.
Hold on, so you're telling me that my dreams are actually trying to tell me something?
In a way, yes. Griffin even conducted his own dream experiments, meticulously documenting his dreams over time.
Interesting.
He realized that it wasn't just any random events that popped up in his dreams,
Uh-huh.
but specifically unresolved emotional concerns from the day.
Wow.
He even tried inducing specific emotional states before sleep, and lo and behold, those emotions showed up in his dreams.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
It's like our brains are running their own internal therapy sessions while we sleep.
Exactly. And if we're not getting enough REM sleep, or if we're constantly suppressing our emotions, those unprocessed feelings can start to build up, potentially contributing to emotional distress.
So getting enough sleep is not just about feeling rested, it's also about maintaining our emotional health, Makes me want to prioritize those 8 hours even more.
Absolutely. And this brings us to another key concept in the human Given's approach to the power of attention.
Okay.
It's like a spotlight that we can direct, either consciously or unconsciously, and it plays a huge role in shaping our experiences and how we meet those human givens.
Okay, let's shed some light on that.
Sure. How does attention tie into all of this?
Think about how much of your day is spent reacting to things,
Yeah,
rather than consciously choosing where your attention goes.
that's true.
Advertisers are masters at grabbing our attention, making us crave things we might not even need.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've definitely fallen for those targeted ads online where it's like they know exactly what I'm thinking.
And it's not just about advertising.
Right.
Think about the constant stream of information we're bombarded with every day.
Mm-mm.
News, social media emails.
Yeah.
It can feel like our attention is being pulled in a million different directions,
Uh-huh.
leaving us feeling scattered and depleted.
It's almost like we're losing control of our own minds.
In a way, yes. But the good news is we can reclaim that control.
Okay, good.
The human Givens approach emphasizes the importance of becoming aware of where our attention is going and learning to direct it consciously.
So being more intentional,
Yeah.
rather than just letting it be hijacked by external forces.
Exactly. And this ties into another fascinating aspect of human Givens. Okay.
The interplay between nature and nurture.
Right.
We've talked about these innate needs we all have, but how we meet those needs is heavily influenced by our environment and upbringing.
It's like we come pre-programmed with this set of needs, but then life throws in all these twists and turns that shape how we go about fulfilling them.
Precisely, the book uses a term called pattern matching
Okay.
to describe how our brains instinctively seek out patterns in the world that match our internal templates.
Interesting.
When those patterns are met in healthy ways, we thrive.
I see. Can you give an example of how this pattern matching works in real life?
Let's say you had a difficult experience speaking up in a meeting at work.
Okay.
Your boss criticized your idea, and you felt embarrassed and humiliated.
Yeah,
Now your brain might start to associate speaking up in meetings with negative feelings.
I can see that.
So the next time you're in a similar situation, you might hesitate to share your thoughts, even if you have a brilliant idea.
So our past experiences create these patterns in our brains that influence how we react in similar situations in the future.
Exactly. And those patterns can be helpful protecting us from potential harm,
Okay.
but they can also hold us back if they're based on negative experiences.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The good news is we can rewire those patterns
Great.
by consciously exposing ourselves to new experiences and creating new positive associations.
So it's not about erasing the past, but about creating new pathways in our brains that lead to more positive outcomes.
Precisely. And this is where the human Givens approach offers some powerful tools.
Okay, what tools?
One of the key techniques is called the utilization principle,
Okay.
which was famously used by Milton H. Erickson, a renowned hypnotherapist.
Interesting.
He was known for working with a patient's existing skills and resources to help them reconnect with their needs.
So rather than trying to fix someone, it's about helping them tap into their own strengths and passions to create positive change.
Exactly. The book shares a wonderful story about Erickson helping a woman who was struggling with severe depression.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She had lost interest in almost everything and felt completely hopeless.
That's awful.
Instead of focusing on her problems, Erickson encouraged her to utilize her passion for African violets.
African violets.
Yes.
How did that help with her depression?
It seems unexpected, right?
Yeah.
But Erickson had a knack for seeing potential where others saw problems.
Okay.
He instructed her to go out and buy dozens of different varieties of African violets and create a beautiful display in her home.
Hmm.
As she began tending to these plants, nurturing them, and watching them grow, her depression gradually lifted.
I can see how that could be therapeutic, caring for something, watching it thrive. It can give you a sense of purpose and accomplishment.
Exactly, and it highlights the importance of finding activities that resonate with our individual needs and passions.
Okay.
What brings one person joy and fulfillment might be completely different for someone else.
It's like a reminder that there's no one-size-fits-all solution to happiness. It's about finding what works for you.
And this brings us to another crucial aspect of the human Givens approach, the importance of fostering a sense of autonomy and control over our lives.
That makes sense.
In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed and powerless.
Yeah, for sure. It's like we're constantly being bombarded with demands and expectations, leaving us with little time or energy to focus on what truly matters to us.
Exactly. But the book reminds us that we have more control than we often realize.
Really?
It's about taking responsibility for our own choices, setting clear boundaries, and learning to manage our emotional responses to challenging situations.
So it's not about controlling external events, but about controlling how we respond to those events.
Exactly, and this sense of agency can be incredibly empowering.
Okay.
It allows us to move through the world with more confidence and intentionality, knowing that we have the power to shape our own experiences.
It's like we're taking back the reins of our lives.
Precisely. And this sense of autonomy can be especially helpful in navigating the challenges of modern life, where we're constantly bombarded with information stimulation and demands on our time and attention.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind and lose sight of what truly matters.
Absolutely. But the human Givens approach offers a framework for staying grounded and connected to our own needs and values, even amidst the chaos.
This makes me think about the connection between unmet needs and depression that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Could a lack of autonomy also contribute to those feelings of hopelessness and despair?
Absolutely. If we feel like we have no control over our lives, that our choices don't matter, it can be incredibly demoralizing.
Right.
It can create a sense of helplessness that can spiral into depression.
So it's not just about having our basic needs met, but about feeling empowered to make choices that align with our values and aspirations.
Exactly. And this ties into another crucial human given the
Okay.
need for connection and belonging.
Mhm.
We are social creatures by nature, and we thrive when we feel a sense of community and connection with others.
We're wired for connection. But in our increasingly digital world where so much of our interaction happens online, it can be challenging to cultivate those deep, meaningful relationships that nourish our souls.
It definitely can be. But the book reminds us that connection is not just about quantity, it's about quality.
Yeah.
It's about nurturing those relationships that bring us joy, support, and a sense of belonging.
So it's not about having thousands of followers on social media.
Right.
It's about having a handful of people in your life who truly see you and understand you.
Precisely. And those deep connections require effort and vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's about showing up authentically,
Right.
being willing to share our true selves, and creating a space for genuine intimacy to flourish.
It makes you realize that investing in those real-life connections is just as important as taking care of our physical health.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of real-life applications, I'm really curious about those case studies you mentioned.
Oh, right.
How has the human Givens approach been used to help people overcome specific challenges?
The book is full of amazing stories, but one that really resonated with me was about a woman named Judith.
Okay.
She had attempted suicide and was battling severe depression and anxiety.
Oh, wow.
It felt like a real turning point in the book, showing how this isn't just abstract theory,
Right.
but a lifeline for people in deep distress.
What was it about Judith's situation that made this approach so effective? Did they uncover a specific unmet need driving her struggles?
It wasn't just one thing, but a pattern of unmet needs.
Okay.
Joe Griffin, the therapist in this case, used the human Givens principles to first create a sense of safety for Judith.
Gotcha.
Then they worked together to pinpoint what was missing in her life.
Uh-huh.
It turned out she was deeply isolated with a strained family relationship and lacked a sense of belonging or purpose.
So that fundamental need for connection we were just talking about,
Yes.
it was severely lacking in her life.
Exactly.
Do you think that lack of connection directly fueled her depression and anxiety?
Absolutely. It's like a plant deprived of sunlight. It withers and struggles to thrive. But here's the key.
Okay.
Once those unmet needs were identified, they could work on practical solutions.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of solutions did they come up with for Judith?
The beauty of this approach is that it's grounded in action. Judith's therapist encouraged her to reconnect with old friends, join a social group, and start volunteering in her community.
Okay.
Simple steps, but aimed at fulfilling that core need for connection.
It sounds like giving her those opportunities for genuine interaction helped her rediscover a sense of belonging and purpose.
Exactly as she engaged more with the world, her depression and anxiety began to lift. It wasn't about fixing her, but about empowering her to create a life that nourished those essential needs.
It's a powerful reminder that we all have the capacity to heal and grow when we understand and meet our core needs.
And this case study highlights a crucial point.
Yeah.
The human Givens approach isn't about fitting people into a mold.
Oh, okay.
It's about helping them reconnect with their own innate wisdom and resources.
It's like we all have this inner compass guiding us towards what we need to thrive.
Yes.
But sometimes we need a little help remembering how to use it.
Precisely. And the book is full of examples of how this approach can be applied to a wide range of challenges, from trauma and addiction to even chronic pain.
It sounds incredibly versatile. So it's not just for people facing extreme difficulties,
Right.
but for anyone looking to enhance their well-being and live a more fulfilling life.
Exactly. And perhaps, even more importantly, it can be used preventatively, helping us cultivate those healthy patterns and create a life that supports our needs from the outset.
So it's not just about fixing problems, it's about building a solid foundation for well-being.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
This has been such a fascinating and eye-opening deep dive. We've covered so much ground from the science of REM sleep to the power of attention,
Yeah.
the interplay of nature and nurture, and even delved into those inspiring case studies.
That's the good stuff.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling incredibly energized and hopeful about the potential for human growth and transformation.
What's truly remarkable about the human givens approach is how it weaves together science, psychology, and philosophy to paint a complete picture of what it means to be human.
Mm-hmm.
It challenges those oversimplified narratives we often hear and offers a much more empowering perspective.
It reminds us that we're not broken. We just need to reconnect with our true nature and create a life that aligns with our human givens.
And perhaps the most important takeaway for our listener today is this.
Okay.
What if the pursuit of meeting our human givens isn't selfish,
Right.
but a fundamental driver of connection, creativity, and positive change in the world?
That's a powerful thought to leave us with.
It is.
It's like by taking care of ourselves, we're also contributing to a more compassionate and fulfilling world for everyone. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I encourage you to reflect on what resonated with you today.
Yeah.
How can you start incorporating the human givens approach into your own life? Maybe it's prioritizing those deep connections, finding activities that bring you joy and purpose, or simply becoming more aware of where your attention goes.
Good advice.
Start small, be curious, and most importantly, be kind to yourself along the way.
Remember, understanding your human givens is like having a roadmap to a more fulfilling life. It's a journey of self-discovery, growth, and connection, and it starts with taking that first step.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.